Hello, I know it's been a long time since I've done some videos, so this is just going to be straight jumping in, I guess. So vapes, you've probably seen them. You've got loads of different types. These are a few I've got off my friends. They're all dead, they've used them all. They don't have anything left in them. So what can we do with these? The best thing I can think of is, considering they're disposable, is to use the batteries. The rest of it I don't really care about. I don't vape, so it's not useful to me. There's no point in refilling them. But the batteries are useful. I can use these in Arduino projects, whether it's powered with a little solar panel, something like that. So going over the batteries, you've got different size ones. So this is, for example, 1500 milliamp hour. We've got a 600 milliamp hour one. What's this one? 360 milliamp hour and 500 milliamp hour. So quite a few different sizes, different thicknesses. All depends on what you're looking at. So for example, this vape, which you've probably seen quite often, inside here, I believe, is this size, which is the 360 milliamp hour. It's also the easiest one to open. I've already done a few, as you can see. I've gone through and disassembled different ones. It's quite easy to do actually, and I'll go through how to do that. There's not much to it, as long as you don't use anything too dangerous. You're not drilling, you're not going to use any like sharp knives. You shouldn't need to do anything like that. You don't want to cut through the battery, obviously you don't want to damage the battery. They're mostly just held in with clips on either side, so they just pop off. Same here. These ones are a bit harder, so if you've got a spudger, it makes it a bit better. Okay, so moving on, let's go over the other ones we've got. So inside this is probably the not easiest, sorry. That's the easiest one. It's probably second easiest. There's literally just this clip on the end and it all pulls out. We've got this one as well, nice and simple. And finally this bigger one, which contains the big battery. That's why I kind of like these the most, because 1500 milliamp hour, you could probably do quite a bit with that on an Arduino project. If you've got something like a data logger outside, a little solar panel with maybe an ESP on, you could use that quite well. And if you've got the deep sleep cycle, then this will probably be perfect. So let's go over the different voltages. I have already charged these ones. So when taking these batteries out, what I've noticed is they're around about 3.3 volts. So they're pretty much discharged, but they're not to the point where it's damaged the battery. If you're not obviously confident about it, then don't do this. But if you are, then when you first charge them, just keep an eye on them. I actually use this thing I've got off eBay. It's a very simple charger, USB one side, and it's just the fact that it can stretch basically. It takes a while to charge. It's only 500 milliamp hour, so it's not a lot of power. Obviously you don't want to charge with a lot of current. So for example, this one, it just goes in there, clips on. You can probably see a little green light. This just means it's on. Same with all of these, they all fit in. The only one that doesn't, annoyingly, is this little fat one, I guess, the 600 milliamp hour. Ironically, this came out of the rechargeable circuit. So this is the little circuit. It's 5 volts on these lines. They actually go to, if I can find it, the right one. There's another one. So they actually get soldered onto this little chip, the IC, with 2 pins here. Not sure if you can see that. So this IC seems to do all the charging. 5 volts in, goes to the battery. and also does the vape. Obviously when the wind blows past it, it activates the coil. So yeah, this circuit, I mean, it's quite useful if you want to have it, take it out. You've got your 5 volts, it's USB-C. You could probably throw it on a breadboard. So that's also quite a useful part. But yeah, it's 600 milliamp hour. So considering the other ones, I guess because it's rechargeable, you don't need to obviously have a big battery. You can lower the battery and just charge it more often. It's actually from this one, which is 9,000 plus, which I'm fairly certain isn't supposed to be used with the same coil or without it being the liquid changing. I have noticed some of the coils were burnt out. Do I have any? I don't have an example. But basically the foam where the liquid goes in, you can see when they're overused, they start getting these burning marks in, which is just overuse basically, and that's sort of what you don't want to be breathing in. So yes, anyway, so let's check the voltages on these ones. They should all be around about 4.15, 4.10, 4.12. Yes, that's what voltage was that? I think that was 408, wasn't it? If I can get them on. A bit hard to hold these little batteries. There we go, 408. I think this one was charged recently. Yeah, 414. I just got it on the wrong way around, but 411. And this one wasn't charged, so let's have a look what it looks like when it's discharged. It might have been charged, however, recently using the vape. By the looks of it was. My mate probably charged it thinking it's not dead yet, and it turns out there isn't actually any liquid in it, so there was pointless charging it. But at least it was in a good state. A lot of these haven't been left over too long. Obviously, if you've got one that's dead and it's been left a while, the battery obviously deteriorates, so maybe not look at those ones. But if you got some off your friends or you just find them around, I mean, why not try them? Just make sure the batteries are rechargeable. Basically, it's cheaper to use a rechargeable battery than to buy non-rechargeable batteries. So, for example, that's the easiest way to open that one. You just wobble it back and forth, and then you'll see the batteries on this side. E-liquid goes in there. But yeah, they use rechargeable batteries because it's cheaper. So that's why obviously be careful when you're doing this, but this one seems to just pull out like so. Inside it's just got the little hole where this little sensor goes in, and that's it. And then we got this. We don't need the tape, so we can take the tape off. Okay, so got the soldering iron on. Obviously if you're going to be doing this, be very careful, and obviously safety first. Soldering irons get very hot. I know, I just burnt myself last week at the weekend. 400 degrees, it hurt a bit. So don't do that. And obviously you don't want to short the battery because these can still hold in a lot of charge. Let's check what voltage this one's at first, and then we'll go from there. So hopefully it's not completely dead. Let's have a look. So 3.2, yeah, that's sort of the voltages I've been reading. Anywhere between like 3.15 to 3.4 is the sort of voltages I've been reading on these. This one is 550 milliamp hour. So slightly bigger actually than the last one, wasn't it? What was that? That was only 500 in the last one I pulled out. Same size. Yeah. And this one says 550. So I'm not sure if you can read that. Okay, so let's get that off. Like I said, I generally get the positive side first. Nice and quick. You don't want to apply too much heat, obviously, for too long. They seem to have these little tabs on. So they're already, I guess, spot welded. I haven't taken one apart, so I don't know for sure. But they've got these little tabs on it. See if I can focus it. There we go. So yeah, they've got these tabs. So if you want to resolder some wires on, it's actually quite perfect because it's already there, done for you. Then you just wire onto your own charging circuit. What I would suggest is add in some sort of battery protection. These, I've tried finding some documentation for it. I'll go over that in a minute, that I found online. But I believe they do actually have battery protection. I think it stops at around about, the one I found online said something around about 3.2 volts, 3.3 volts, to stop it from obviously discharging too much. Same with overcurrent use. So if you're going to use these, I recommend using maybe like the TP, I think it's a TP4056. Let's just double check. It is. So you can get those with the actual built-in protection on. I recommend doing that because that's quite a common board to use. It's a module, you can get them quite cheap as well. I think you can get them for like definitely under $1 or under £1. So yeah, very useful. And then you're not going to risk damaging the battery, which obviously you don't want to do that because it can be a fire hazard or anything really. You don't want it to explode. So that is that one done. Let's go through and I'll go over some more in a second. Okay, so what I've got here is just my Anker charger. I'm going to use this to charge it, and this is what I've been doing, just so I'm not leaving it alone. And I mean, I'm just using this. It's nothing weird. It's not plugged into the mains or anything like that. It's just battery charging a battery. So as you can see, this is saying it's on. It should go red if it's going to charge. So just go like that, and it's gone red, meaning it's charging. Like I said, it's 500 milliamp hour, so this will take, well, what is it, 500? If it was completely dead, it will take an hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this on the side and leave it to charge while we take apart some more. So the next one we're going to go through is, let's do this one. This one's quite an easy one. Little clip on the end, so they're quite easy to pop off. Get that bit off, and then you got a little seal, stop liquid pouring out, and that slides out. It's plastic, don't need that. And then you got your metal tube, and we just pull these out. That is actually quite a useful tube, depending on what you do. I mean, if you've got any projects that could use them as well, you might as well keep them. Not sure what, I mean, it is the right size for this battery, so you could always slide something down into it. So yeah, this one's quite a simple one. And then, again, you'll see the blue cable, negative, positive. Blue goes into the coil, then negative back. So let's take off this bit of sellotape. This one's stuck on quite a bit. Is that the right? It's the wrong sellotape, that's why. Putting off the wrong bit. It's this bit here. No wonder it's not coming up. There we go. There. So take that off. It's just protective electric tape. And the same on the other side. So we can access the battery. And we can take this one off, which just is for cable management, not needed. And what we'll do is, again, we'll check the voltage first, and then we will check, then we'll take the battery apart, take the wires off the terminals. So, oh, 3.6, this is actually the highest one I've found so far. I'm surprised it's that high. I mean, there's definitely no e-liquid left inside of it, so definitely used up. Maybe there wasn't much liquid inside. Okay, so positive first. There we go. And then the negative. So I tried to grab it with my fingers here, and that way I can pull a little bit. You don't want to pull too much, but just enough so that I can pop them off. Once it, there we go, like so. And then I don't need that. Moving on to the next one, we've got this, which is like a tube shape. Now, if I recall, you can pop these back and forth. Gives you that bit. I think we have to pull it from the bottom actually. Now, we put glue in these. Quite a bit of glue. Is that coming out? Yeah, oh, looks like it. There we go. So we've got the end out. Let's just focus it a bit. Again, blue wire, red and black. And that should just pull out. There we go. So, again, you've got more of these now. You can keep these. They're covered in e-liquid though. So, make sure you clean them because it's horrible. Let's see what voltage this one's at. So that was quite a big loud bang, wasn't it? Right, let's get this in scene. Ooh, 3.56, that's quite a high one as well actually. Strange it's that high. I mean, it's definitely got e-liquid still in, so this probably wasn't actually fully discharged. And finally, we've got the big one. So I'm trying to remember how this one comes off. I think the top comes off like normal, like so. Nothing really there. And you could try and pull that out. It doesn't really show anything. Just shows it's been burnt inside. Chemicals. So getting this bit off. Now this is hard because it's very thin, as you can tell. So if you're trying to get this apart, it's mostly just hard to get a grip of it. Okay, yeah, there we go. Finally, it's off. That is a pain to get out, trust me. And we can pull this one out now. And yeah. So let's have a look. Again, you've got the blue line, the blue cable, red cable and black cable. This size battery is one of the bigger ones. So it's the 2440. It's the 2400, which just means the size basically is 20 mil there, and 400 that way. Yeah, no. So, can't remember now. But yeah, we've got the 1500 milliamp hours. So let's try and get this apart, shall we? We'll take off the cable management and let's check the voltages. So this has a. It would help if I actually touched the metal part. There we go. 3.27. So yeah, sort of the round, the sort of voltages I would expect for one of these when they're fully discharged. So let's just take off the positive. That was easy. This is not really soldered on very well. And there's that bit. So done. That is all the different ones I had to show you. So it was 4 different batteries. We've got these, so from there, if you include the one that's currently charging. Then what we have, we've got a 1500, very useful. We've got a 360. We've got a 500, and this one was 550. So plenty of different sizes there. Obviously it depends what you're going to use them for. But like I said, if you've got like solar powered and say it's an ESP, the 8266 ones, or the ESP32, and you're literally just doing some data logging, then this is probably pretty good. And obviously it's a free battery. It's very easy to get a hold of. You see these vapes all the time everywhere. Put some battery management system on it, and just be careful when you first charge them. Obviously if it's been discharged too long, it could be damaged, so only do it if you know what you're doing. And that's my little disclaimer, I guess. Only do it if you're confident and know what you're doing. Don't go around risking things. Don't take any liability for anything anyone does following this video. So it's more educational, and yeah, have fun. Okay, so if we go straight in to what I found online, if you go and just type in Vape IC datasheet, I just clicked on this one because it was the first one pretty much that came up, and going through onto the website comes into here and just goes over what the IC chip sort of looks like, and I mean, it basically looks like what we've seen. We've had the blue wire, the red and the black wire. So and then this goes over the sort of specifications. So short circuit protection, 3.1 volt under voltage protection, which is probably why I haven't seen any sort of under the 3.2 sort of mark going forward. But yeah, you see it could be actually set to around 3.25, which we've seen on ours. Obviously some of the batteries we had was around the 3.6 mark. That just happens to be, they just weren't used properly all the way down to the bottom. But at least here we can see why it's around about the 3.2. The chips is the same. Here you can see almost identical. So it probably is the same chip. There's other stuff here. So if you want to go to this website, website link is here. Very useful. This person obviously put in a lot of effort, and credits due to them. So please visit their website. They've obviously done some testing down here, which is cool. The battery that we got, this is the big battery we saw. I just typed it in, so 2400. That's the only identifier I could find. It had like IP in front of it, but pretty much this is the only identifier. People seem to be selling 4 of them for a tenner, so £2.50 each. So when you're taking that into consideration, I think the Vape to buy is around about £5. I don't know for sure. I'm fairly certain I've seen £5 as the mark on the advertisement in the shops. So if you're selling, if the battery's at £2.50, then it's quite worthwhile, isn't it? That's like half the price just for the battery. So it makes sense to get them out. And these ones, I'd say probably the most useful just because of the size. You know, 1.5 amp hours, you can do a lot with that. So yeah, obviously you can run probably like a motor, but if you've got, like I said in the past, little projects where it's ESP, data login, something like that, perfect really. What you would want to do is obviously protect the board. So if you go and look onto these, you'll probably see the TP 4056 or 4056, depending on how you say it. Very useful. This is for charging lithium-ion batteries. You can buy the chip and build it yourself, but the modules are really cheap. So here you can see one, and when it's got the extra boards, let's scroll down, let's find a better image. So here, so there's a charging chip, and then here we've got like protection for the circuit, so it doesn't let the battery get discharged too much or too much current draw, short circuit protection, that sort of thing. It's going on here. Without that, it looks like, I did see a picture of one, it looks more like this. So if you want just a charging circuit, this will do, but I would recommend something with some sort of protection, either if you get it separately as a BMS or as part of this module. It's quite useful to have it as an all-in-one, I'd say. Battery goes on here, then output here. Very useful. What else we got? So lithium-ion discharge. So if you want to have to know what sort of discharge rate is. Again, this is just the first image that came up, so credit is due. So here you can see the state of charge, and we're looking at around about 3.25, aren't we? So it's around here, which is probably what, like 7%. So they're pretty much dead. They need to be charged. So yeah, but then you do have like some batteries that get drawn all the way down to here, which I think a bit risky when you're starting to charge them from that point. If they've been left in a vape for a while, I wouldn't do it personally, but yeah. So yeah, and that is all to do with the vapes. If you like my videos and you want to help out my channel, then please take a minute to hear about these great offers. This isn't sponsored content, but I do get commission from any sales. Nord Locker. Encrypt your precious files. Whether they're pictures of your loved ones, bank documents, keep them safe with Nord Locker. Nord Pass. A full-featured password security manager. Save with one click, log in automatically, easily import your passwords. Most importantly, sync your passwords across all your devices. And finally, my favourite, NordVPN. NordVPN gives safe access to streams and other content from around the world. By shielding your IP address, NordVPN protects users' privacy and virtual location. Secure online traffic through encryption, making it hard to spy on or hijack data. A no-logs policy affirmed by 3 separate independent audits using diskless servers which store no data or configurations on site. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have a good one.